So, Thriller 40, eh? Let's do this. What's up everybody, my name is Raul and welcome to a new video. First things first, long time no see, eh? It's been nearly a year. Oof. Anyway, that's a topic for a different video. For now, let's discuss about Thriller 40 and what the hell is up with this thing? I personally have got some takes on this and yeah, I just wanted to make a video to express them, to kind of give my thoughts over this whole thing that happened for the past, it's nearly 2 months since it's been announced, since they started posting about the songs. But let's first have an unboxing of it. Right, now that we are back, overall about the campaign, I personally think it went well. I was actually really happy with how they handled this by announcing every week a new song. In my opinion, it was the right thing to do. It kind of built more hype, and the fact that we also got new, completely unheard before songs such as Who Do You Know and What a Lovely Way to Go. By the way, the latter has had the snippet leaked for a good couple of years now, which you can listen here.
This is a property of Legend 80.
Give me some loving and I won't make it everything.
It's been a journey since then, innit? So yeah, as I said, the campaign in my opinion was handled pretty well. I do have more thoughts about the overall promotion on social media, which I will address at the end, but until then, let's discuss about the design of the box. I personally think the design of the box looks really well. I am a fan of how this whole grey slash sparkly thing looks like. In my opinion, it captures the whole vibe of Thriller really well. and it in general has this kind of 80s theme to it. Also, I'm a huge fan of the window. Some people have criticized it. A lot of people have criticized that the design looks cheap, the design is too minimalistic, that the design doesn't actually capture the whole vibe of Thriller, but I personally think that those people are completely wrong. The look of it is, as I said, is really nice. I'm digging this grey sparkly thing. I also think that the fonts that they used, with it being so thin, so minimalistic, it looks amazing. It kind of modernizes the whole vibe of Thriller, but in a good way. I personally am also a fan of the fact that they have put in here that it's the world's biggest selling album. That's actually pretty cool because, well, you gotta be cocky a bit because yeah, Michael Jackson was, and he's one of the most iconic artists who ever touched the earth, so yeah, might as well. Also, one small detail which I'm not sure whether it was intentional or not, but to me this whole outer shell kind of reminds me of the glove that Michael used to wear in Billie Jean during concerts, and yeah, whether it was intentional or not, it's a really cool detail which just, as I said, more enhances the whole perception of Thriller and the whole vibe of it. Now, another aspect that has been discussed in the community for ages now, and we wanted to see during the release of this new album, is the films in 4K. Now, there are two sides to this, one good, one bad. Let's start with a good one. Beat It and Thriller are finally available in 4K and they look amazing. They look stunning. That's a huge improvement compared to what we were accustomed for the past 40 years since they came out. I mean, I know I'm not that old to remember since they came out, but since I've been an MJ fan, I've been watching them, so yeah, the old ones are really bad. In Thriller, we can actually finally see Michael Jackson's face. It's something that we actually wanted since the IMAX one came out, and yeah, similarly to that one, I think the color science in the new Thriller isn't really the best, however in Beat It looks much better. One more thing about Thriller is that we can finally have the MJ eating popcorn at the cinema meme upgraded. One random fun fact, did you know that Michael's sleeves of the jacket that he used to wear in the actual film in Thriller that he was watching, you know, the yellow one, the yellow with red, the sleeves are actually made out of leather? I didn't know that before. Well, the VHS one, with the quality being so poor, it kind of looked like they were made from the same material as the inner parts of it. It kind of looked the same to me in the old one, which yeah, it just goes to show you how much of an improvement this new Thriller and Beat It are. Beat It as well looks amazing. The bad side is that Billie Jean is not out yet in 4K. Well, I don't think it will ever be out in 4K. Mainly because it has been shot on 16mm film rather than 35, the way Thriller and Beat It had been. To my knowledge, 16mm can only be scanned to native 2K. It can be upgraded to 4K using AI, it can be upscaled, but I'm not sure on how good the results would end up looking. With AI, it can be a bit of a hit or miss. Sometimes, well,
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Another thing about why Billie Jean is not out yet is that unlike Thriller and Beat It, which had been edited on the film, it has been edited on tape. So what they did for Thriller and Beat It, they just got the tapes and the real tapes, the film, and just like made the cuts there. For Billie Jean, that's not the case. They scanned them, made the cuts, and then put them on the VHS, and that's why it takes them a bit more time. They would need to scan them again, do the cuts again, and then release it. Now, this could be a double-sided coin. It could mean that they would have a lot more work to do in order to get them right, so they could match the original one, because that's what I would be hoping for, to be an exact one-to-one copy, one-to-one replica. But with this, they can also take the leverage to make it a totally new version, a totally new edition of it, have like alternate angles and some crazy things we had not seen yet before in the original version of Billie Jean. So now let's move on to the juicy part, the juicer of this album, the songs, starting with Starlight. As a matter of fact, I actually predicted that it would come out on the week preceding Halloween, so Halloween fell on a Monday. I predicted that it would be coming out on the Thursday before it, and looks like I was right. Personally, I'm glad that it's there, because it's an upgrade compared to the leaked version that we had been listening for the past, well, I don't know when that came out. It's a much better and much nicer sounding version of it. Overall, I think it's a really cool demo. It's, again, capturing this 80s vibe that Thriller has, and yeah, that's something I will be mentioning for a lot of other songs, so I will probably get a bit repetitive. While it's a good song by itself, I can easily see why Thriller is the one that got selected for the album at the end of the day. It's not necessarily a terrible track, however Thriller is miles better in terms of lyrics and in terms of the thematics and all. Instrumentation wise they are quite similar, but I do feel like Starlight falls short of it. Funnily enough, with how similar these two songs are, when I listen to Starlight, I kind of my mind just wants to hear the Thriller lyrics, and it kind of falls into this uncanny valley of songs, should that even be a real thing. It just is so weird, but weird in a good way, because in its own respect, it's a decent track. Track numero 2 is Got the Hots. This is a song that has been available on here, 325, but I personally do not mind it being here as well. I think that overall it's not a terrible track. I am aware that it's not the greatest Michael Jackson track, it's quite meh in general, like it's nothing really complex about it, nothing really stands out, but I personally am a sucker for songs that sound like 80s. I mean, obviously it will sound like 80s because it's from the 80s, but you get what I mean, this Miami slash Vice City type of sound that Got the Hots had. I'm really digging it. I'm personally a huge fan of it. From like the 3rd minute mark, there's like a digital trumpet solo that I actually had been digging, and in general there's nothing much to say about the song. The lyrics are kind of boring, but yeah, it's a good song. I like it. So the 3rd track is something that we had not seen coming. It's something that had actually generated a lot of controversy on Twitter, because people assume things and they just jump the boat as usual. They thought that this track is another Behind the Mask demo, but they couldn't be more wrong. The track is Who Do You Know? So, I personally love the hell out of this song. This is a really mellow song that is about Michael's lover leaving him. It's kind of a depressing topic, however, I personally think that the song itself is really nice. The ballad has a really slow tempo and a really deep, melancholic lyrics, which just kind of give this whole you sit by your window vibe, where you just look at the rain falling. From like the 3:30 minute mark, there are some harmonies that are chef's kiss. They are so amazing. Michael being able to do these harmonies is just like, wow, this man can do so much. So the instrumentation of the song is very minimalistic, though it can really complement the song with this thing, because having a song that's filled with so many layers of instrumentation would just like kind of take away the vibe that it has, the emotion that it's trying to convey, which I am glad that Who Do You Know is the way it is. The chorus of the song is really beautiful. I personally vibe with the lyrics. The verses are pretty nice as well, however the first and the second are much longer than the third one. That's what she said, which I feel like it kind of takes away from the whole track, but not by much. The ending is very repetitive, with Michael saying over and over again, Who do you know, which is not something that we haven't seen before. It's something that we had, as Michael Jackson fan, grown accustomed to. It's nothing really to complain, but overall the song, it's still a demo, okay? It's not a finished track, and it's obviously not a finished track, but even the fact that it has some hiss on the background, but yeah, I personally like it, and I'm glad that they had included this one in the final version of Thriller. Lost my heart on a carousel to a circus girl. Is there anything else I can say about this song that hasn't been said before? Well, there's one thing actually. I'm a bit confused by the fact that they had used the 3-minute version of the song rather than a 4-minute one. There is a longer version of the song that has been available for a long time as well. I'm not sure where that one had been released, or if it's even a release, if it's not just a leak. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think there's any difference in the structure. I haven't analyzed them, but yeah, Carousel is an amazing track. I love it. It's awesome. There's nothing else to say about it. Well, forgetting what just happened 5 seconds ago, Behind the Mask, Mike's Mix. A bit of a mouthful to say, but anyway, this one has from the get-go, this one has a really interesting intro. I am actually digging that. Very different from the 2010 version, which I will be referencing throughout this part. Anyway, overall, I really love the bass of this song. It's much louder and you can hear it and feel it a bit more than in the 2010 version, which is something that I personally prefer. However, there is one thing I don't really like about this song, is that the instruments are just a bit too loud when Michael starts singing. I personally don't have necessarily a huge issue with that, but it's just like much more noticeable. Though the change in the chorus, which also, funnily enough, had this robotic 80s voice that's kind of run through a synth that I really love as well. For the second verse, the instrumentation to voice ratio had actually improved in my opinion. I just got used to it from listening to the first bit of it, but yeah, I just feel like it's a little less louder, the instruments. The dun, 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 whatever, you get what I mean. This driving melody part that's very present in the 2010 version is also here as well. If Starlight and Got the Hots are really 80s sounding songs, you know what I mean, 80s sounding songs, this song is kind of like the definition of the era. It feels like it has everything in it, just like beats from here and there from other songs, or like it just like defines what 80s pop sounds like. I vibe with this song, I like it a lot, and I think that it's different enough from the 2010 version, but at the end of the day, because I feel like the 2010 is much more finished than this one, it has less errors, like as I mentioned, the instruments being much louder than the voice than they should be. I feel like that 2010 is the slightly better version, though that doesn't mean I dislike the demo, that doesn't mean I hate the demo. I love both equally, and I think that they are just amazing the way they are. Can't Get Out of the Rain. What on earth is this song? Right from the get-go, Michael just jumps right into the song. For some reason it sounds more like a The Jacksons track to me, kinda slightly reminds me of Shake Your Body. I don't know why, it's just that this song is really weird. I also didn't know that this song existed up until like a couple weeks ago, like actually 2 months ago, when Thriller 40 started being announced and people were mentioning it on both Reddit and Twitter. Michael doesn't actually sing any lyrics in here, he just sings Can't Get Out of the Rain and making his really awesome ad-libs. That's all that this song is, and pretty average instrumental. I don't want to disrespect this song, but I just think it's really weak, and it's one of the few tracks that I don't actually see a reason why it's in here. To be honest, there could have been much better options such as Nightline or Hot Street, which would have been much better songs. But I do have a reason why they might be here. I will talk it at the end, okay? I suppose this song is talking about your average Brit that just goes out, forgets to bring his umbrella, and then a huge rain starts pouring down. It's 5 o'clock in a Sunday, and then there are no shops open, and then he just has to sit in the rain. That happened to me. It's shit. The toy. Well, as someone who loves Best of Joy a lot, especially Nick's acoustic mix, which you can just check in the description, I was looking forward to this the most. Second verse, I am your friend through thick and thin, we need each other, we'll never part, our love is from the heart, is in my opinion Michael's best lyrics ever written. Overall, as a verse, is just, I don't know, it just hits home so much. It's just so beautifully written, so amazing, so pure, so from the heart. It's just, I don't have any other words to describe it. Overall, this song is much simpler compared to the 2010 version, which was something I really didn't like myself. It's overlayered, overproduced, it sounds so weird, it almost loses its substance, loses its thing. Kind of like, it's kind of what shouldn't have happened to Who Do You Know. It's kind of the same theory. The drums in this track are really nice, the lyrics are obviously really awesome, but on the topic of the lyrics, I had different hopes for this one. I hoped that this song would be kind of like the way Starlight is for Thriller, totally different lyrics, maybe totally different theme. As I said, I'm a huge fan of Best of Joy, but that's not exactly what I expected. You can't have it all. It's Sunset Driver. Wow, I did not see this one coming that much, but at the same time I'm also not surprised. It's a song that had been out since 2004 from the Ultimate Collection. It's not a terrible song, though it's more off-the-wall sounding than Thriller. I think from what I know it's an off-the-wall track which has been re-recorded for Thriller, which it's alright. It's a decent track, there's nothing really I can add about it. I probably wouldn't have included and would have put Nightline or Hot Street. Now what, in my opinion, is the star of these 10 tracks is What a Lovely Way to Go. I'm not sure why this song has never been released before, but just from the start, this song sounds so awesome. The chorus is so amazing, MJ's harmonies are really nice, and the overall let's all unite together against the force of evil or whatever the theme of this song is just really beautiful. The lyrics themselves are really nice. I feel like this is more of a finished track than it is a demo. I'm not even sure whether it's actually labeled as a demo. Let me look on the CD, on the disc itself in the meantime. Yeah, it says here that it's a demo that is produced by Michael Jackson as well, so okay. From the way it sounds to me, it doesn't sound like a demo, it sounds more like a finished track. But on the topic of the chorus, the choir, I think that's the way you pronounce this word, sounds really cool as well. It just kind of adds up more to this vibe, to this positive overall vibe that the song has. kind of feeding into the empowerment that the song wants you to feel while listening to it. I just love the energy that this song gives me. It's the kind of song that you both listen to when you feel down, when you're depressed, when, I don't know, you got the worst grade at school, or you listen to on a summer evening when you drive with your friends in the car with the windows open on a highway or motorway, depending whether you're US or UK. It's just everything in this song. The main piano riff that drives the whole song is just so beautiful. While the verses themselves aren't necessarily that lengthy, I feel like the song is mainly driven by the pre-chorus, and the chorus itself, it just, as I said previously, is just awesome. I love this track, and I think it will definitely be a song that I'll be binge listening to. She's Trouble. This is another track which has been available for a very long time ago. I think we even had two different versions, Trouble and She's Trouble. I think one was a shorter one, I don't really remember because I haven't listened to them in a very long time. This song has again this very 80s pop sound to it, which again is something that I'm really happy about, and I'm generally a sucker for this sound, as I mentioned previously. There's nothing much else to say about the track, the lyrics are alright. Final thoughts about the songs. I can easily say that I'm happy with what we got. The selection of the songs is really nice. It ranges from tracks we've never heard before to tracks such as Got the Hots, which has been released just like 2008, not that long ago. I personally would have replaced Can't Get Out of the Rain and Sunset Driver with Nightline and Hot Street, as I mentioned before. However, my assumption is that the reason why they are not here is because they are finished tracks. They could be part of a potential future release, which I wouldn't mind necessarily. When it comes to the demos for the tracks that we've already been having, there's nothing really changed here. I feel like it's the same tracks that we received over the years and in 2025. Not really a huge fan of the remixes anyway. The demos were fun to listen once or twice to kind of like hear how the song started, but the only remix which I generally listen to on a very rare occasion is the 2008 version of Wanna Be Starting Something with Akon. That one has new vocals for the songs, and it's just like so awesome to hear Michael's voice from 2008. It just feels good, man. Feels really nice. On a much sour note, which kind of kills the whole vibe of this thing, is the lack of promotion. For some reason, the Michael Jackson estate or Sony or whoever is running the accounts, I think the social media accounts, I think they are being run by Sony. For some reason, I think they've been having a beef with the estate, and there was hardly any promotion for Thriller 40. There has been obviously the weekly post about the new song being announced, which, as I said, is really nice. It was kind of building the hype, but aside from that, there was nothing. Okay, there was the Halloween post about Thriller, which, I mean, sorry, as Michael Jackson's social media account, you must have that, but there was hardly any promotion. This is very bizarre. Why wouldn't you promote Thriller 40? Like, is the celebration, the 40th anniversary celebration for the best-selling album of all time, and by what is considered by a lot of people the most influential album of all time. So the lack of promotion is really peculiar. So about this beef that I mentioned before between Sony and the MJ estate, I read about it on Twitter not so long ago. Apparently some Chinese huge fan that has some connections has leaked that information. Don't take my word for granted. I don't really pay attention on Twitter for Michael Jackson stuff. It's just what I see sometimes in my feed, so take this with a huge grain of salt. I haven't researched into this topic. I generally don't care about this, so if you know, let me know in the comments, please. Final thoughts. As I said, I'm very happy with this boy. I'm happy with the content that we got. I've heard that there is a documentary, but apparently that's all been made available for free. I'm not sure. I just, as I said, read some stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I would say this is a W. In my books, this is a W. Also, there is the word around the neighborhood that some songs have leaked. I have some thoughts about those, which are a bit of hot take. So I might make a video about it, but we'll see that in the future. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you soon with the next one, whenever that will be. Bye bye.